Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to be graphing a couple of functions using transformations. So let's just jump right into it. When graphing any function using any transformations, the first thing you want to do is to identify the base function. So the function that you're going to be doing the transformations on, and that's going to be the reciprocal function, and I'll call it g of x, and that's 1 over x. So in your textbook, you have a list of the different functions that you'll be doing transformations on. For example, you have the reciprocal function, like I just listed. You have the square function, the absolute value function, and other functions. So I chose this one because it looks the most like the original. It has a fraction bar with an x in the denominator. So I know this is the one to choose. And then you want to identify some key points to go with that. And you have these in your textbook as well. I just choose easy small numbers. And of course, you also have a vertical asymptote at x equals 0 and a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. So then let's go ahead and find g of these values. So g of -1 is 1 over -1, which is -1. G of 1 is 1 divided by 1, which is 1. And then I like to rewrite the function that I'm actually going to graph right here. And of course, I'll need some key points to go with that as well. And right in the middle, I'm going to write down the arithmetic that is going to allow me to do this transformation. Okay, so let's look at our x values. From this x value to this x value, what's the difference? So we have a +1 here. So what you do to the x value is you do the reverse operation. So it looks like we're adding 1, but we actually subtract 1. And I can explain why that is in another video, but you always do the opposite operation to the x values. So now y is 1 over x. So g of x is just function notation for y. So y is this. So from this y, bringing that y over here, we subtract 2 to the y values. And you just write down whatever operation's being done. Here, you just write it down as is. And so now to all my x values, I'm going to subtract 1, and to all my y values, I'm going to subtract 2. And that I'm talking about, the x and y values I'm talking about are these. So we have -1 minus 1 is -2. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. And then this vertical asymptote, that's also an x value. So 0 minus 1 is -1. Now to all the y values, we'll subtract 2. So -1 minus 2 is -3. 1 minus 2 is -1. And then this asymptote, 0 minus 2 is -2. Let's see, did I do all that correctly? -1 minus 2 is -3. 1 minus 2 is -1. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put that on a graph. So I like to place my asymptotes before my point. So x equals -1 is right here. Y equals -2 is right here. And then I have this point -2, -3, and then 0, -1. And we know with the reciprocal function that our graph never crosses or touches any of the asymptotes. So as we graph this, we will just follow the asymptotes closely, but we won't actually cross or touch them. And that's it. You are done. That is the graph for this graph is for this function using transformations. Okay, so what we want to go ahead and do, what I can do is we can label these transformations, right? And if we look at the original graph, this right here, we have -1, 1, and then 1, 1. And I didn't put my asymptotes first, but that's okay. X equals 0, y equals 0, And then we follow the asymptotes. Okay, so what we did from this graph to this graph, well, we did a horizontal shift left 1 unit. So we took the graph and moved it over left once. And I know it says +1, but again, that means you took the graph and you shifted it left once. And so if you follow this vertical asymptote, you can clearly see that from the vertical asymptote. It started at x equals 0, and now it's at x equals -1, like we stated here. And then we took the graph and we shifted down 2. So we took it and went down 2. And you can clearly see that from the horizontal asymptote, y equals 0. And so it was here. And now it's down 1, 2, and we wrote that there as well. So we had a horizontal shift left 1 unit and a vertical shift down 2 units. So now we can graph another one. All right, again, just identify the base function, and so call it g of x, and it's a square function, and some key points. I'm just going to use -1, 0, and 1. So g of -1 will be -1 squared, which is 1, and g of 0 is 0 squared, which is 0, and g of 1 is 1 squared, which is 1. And then I will rewrite the function that I will be graphing. And I'll write some key points to go with it. And I'll write here, I'm going to write my arithmetic to do my transformation. So from this x value to this x value, the difference is that we added 2, but we actually do the opposite. The reverse operation, we're going to subtract 2 to all our x values. And from this y value to this y value, we are actually adding 2 to it, right? That was the change. So now to all these values, x and y values, we're going to do this. So to all the x's, I will subtract 2. So -1 minus 2 is -3, 0 minus 2 is -2, and 1 minus 2 is -1. And then to all the y values, I'm going to add 2. 1 plus 2 is 3, 0 plus 2 is 2, and 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, so let's just make sure all the arithmetic is correct. So it's -3, -2, and -1. And then 1 plus 2 is 3, 0 plus 2 is 2, and 1 plus 2 is 3. And then so we can just put these on our graph. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, -2, 2, and -1, 3. Okay, so we do know that with the square function, the dots connect like this in a parabola. And that's it, you're done. So this is the graph of this function here using transformations. So if we look at the original, oops, it's a little scented. And I have -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So I see that I shifted it up, shifted left 2 units and up 2. So from here to here, that is a horizontal shift left 2, and we do a vertical shift up 2. So if you follow the origin, you can clearly see, like right here, it goes left 2 and then up 2, and it ends up right here, right? So we were here, left 2, and then up 1, 2. And of course, we do that, moved all the points. Okay, so we did, again, a horizontal shift left 2 units, and a vertical shift up 2 units. All right, guys, well, that is all I have for this video. I hope it helped. I have many other videos on graphing different functions using transformations and all kinds of topics. And I hope you go check those out. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.